The tour was, we kind of nicknamed it the Divorce the World Tour because the new album's called Divorce. And we went and did, I think, like 12 dates in Canada, and then about 14, or maybe more like 15 dates in Canada, 15 in the States, and then 16 in Europe, something like that, over 2 months. And it was amazing in a lot of ways. I mean, it was really cool to find out that in every single city we went to, people were there, at least a couple people, at least like 10 or 12 people were there with the sole purpose of seeing our band because we were their favorite band and they knew every word and they wanted, and you know, we were a big deal to them. And that's amazing to me that like through Spotify and through, you know, whatever it is, our music has gained a real reach because as an artist, that's what I want to do. I want to spread it to as many people as possible. Specifically with that, more or less, that's why I got into making music. Is that type of inspiration? I gather you're talking about the girl who kind of said that one day she was feeling like she didn't want to be alive anymore, and she listened to Monarch Butterfly, and it calmed her down, and it really did something to her that made her want to stay on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what music does for me. So if I can translate that to other people, that's the fucking dream, man. So when I read about that, I of course felt a whole bunch of different emotions, but yeah, really just elated that my music could do that for someone in the same way that, you know, listening to Nirvana when I was a kid or Frank Ocean these days does for me. Like, makes me believe that there's positivity in the world, because there's so much negativity in the world. I mean, essentially what I want is for this band to be kind of something that everyone feels is their
like a go-to, or
yeah, kind of like something that, you know, they can share with each other and kind of feel like they have a personal connection with us, because that's one of my favorite parts of being in a band is meeting people and hearing their stories regarding the music. And you know, if, you know, Southern Comforting was a song that people messaged me and would tell me that it helped them get over a breakup, or for other people it was a song that, like, was, you know, quote unquote their song in their relationship. So any little story like that, it just really makes me want to keep going and write more songs, and because it means something's going right. I usually write on the acoustic guitar, and I'll usually start with the melody and a riff, and then I'll start writing lyrics. And the writing lyrics process is actually something that I kind of have sleepless nights about, especially on the last record. They're very, very, very deliberate and chosen with a lot of thought. And then I bring what is essentially like the folk song version of what the song will become after Japanese Girls, Graham, Chris, and Colton kind of shape it in their way, to like add the bass and the drums and kind of some guitar that maybe I'm not proficient enough to play. But it all usually starts with you know, a pretty actualized idea of what the song is going to sound like. Well, I'm writing constantly, so there's certain there were certain songs on, like when we did Circulation, there were certain songs on that album that I'd written when I was like 17. So, and Southern Comforting, that song took me like a year to write, and then there's other songs that are completely great that took us a lot less time to write, like maybe a week or something. I mean, I started a band with like two of the most stubborn people I know, and I'm insanely stubborn as well. So there's tons of fighting, but it is a democracy. So we always get through it, and we find our way. But yeah, you know, like when you're all crafting the songs together the way we do, there's going to be arguments for sure. We all get along pretty well, but it's just something about being around the same people for so long, and like maybe a show doesn't go as well as you wanted it to, and then you have a 10-hour drive to the next show, and it's just easy to get cranky. Yeah. And also, like, if you're having a 4-hour sleep on a couch rather than sleeping in your own bed with all your creature comforts, there's just a tendency to get cranky. And, you know, we were on the road for over 2 months together without really seeing anyone else. And on this last tour, we managed to be pretty civil. So, you know, I'm gonna write. I'm about halfway done writing 7 or so Japanese girl songs for the next album, and so I got to finish them on my end, and then we're gonna take them to the band, and then go up to a remote island in BC and make demos and do a writer's retreat, which I'm really looking forward to. We've always wanted to do it, and now it's like kind of falling into place that we get to. Yeah, and it's going to be so good because kind of when you're just jamming in the jam space or whatever, you know, it's easy to think of your outside responsibilities, but like all we're going to have is the cabin, and I just think that that's going to breed a ton of creativity. I mean, I think it could be really advantageous to just like all we have is the music, and like that's all we can think about, and that could be really rad.